Good morning, Lexington High School. My name is Ryan Poole, and I am the very proud principal here at LHS. I want to welcome you all back for what's going to be a fantastic year, 2021-2022. Last year was complicated in a lot of ways, and this year we are going to see different challenges throughout the year, but that's going to be okay because we have shown that we're ready to face whatever comes our way, and Lexington High is going to continue to be awesome.
Here are your learning targets for this week. Students can explain how specific routines and procedures help all members of the class engage and learn deeply. Students can describe a collaborative, inclusive classroom community where each member contributes and makes connections that enhance learning. And finally, students can explain how to access and interact with academic content to reach personalized goals.
All right, so I know one of the big questions for the year is how is lunch going to work? And especially if you're a new student or an incoming ninth grader, that's probably on your mind. Like, how do I get lunch? What do I do at lunch? So right now I'm on the DEF side of the building, and we're just going to kind of walk through how lunch works. So you'll get an announcement this week to tell you and the teacher when to release for lunch. And when you do, you'll come down the down stairwell and you'll start making your way towards the cafeteria. So here we are, and we're heading into the cafeteria right now. So as you line up to get your lunch, the lines for both sides of the cafeteria are going to form along the outside of the cafeteria, along the brick walls. So we have microwaves strategically placed around the cafeteria. If you bring something from home to eat, you can heat them up in our microwaves. There might be a little bit of a line, but we just ask you to kind of hang out in line. It won't take too long at all. So the lines along the outside of the cafeteria can get backed up sometimes because we've got a lot of people. When you're in line, it's not okay to save spots and have your friends come up and join you, getting in front of a lot of other people that have been waiting. All the breakfast and lunch this year is provided for free. There are some items that are available for special sales that you can grab in addition to your normal lunch. Even though everything's free, you still have to go through the register. If you have your ID with you, then you can scan your ID and move quickly through the line. If you don't have your ID, you're going to have to punch in your name and number, and they'll move you through the line that way. That slows us down a bit, so it's important that you have your identification. Once we get lunches up and running, those students who don't have their ID will have their own line. So everybody that has their ID with them can move more quickly. When you come out of the line through the registers, we want you to quickly move directly to a table and find a seat. Grab your friends and make sure that they have someone to sit with too. At Lexington High, we don't want anybody sitting alone, so if you see somebody who can't find their friends, maybe invite them over. You might meet someone who becomes a great friend in the future. We're always going to leave our tables as clean as we found them. So after you finish your lunch, we're going to make sure that everything from your table is put away in the trash and your chairs are stowed underneath the table, even better than you found it before. So students, we have 4 lunches at Lexington High this year. We're going to be making announcements the first week to make sure everybody knows when to go to lunch. It is very important for us that every student get a chance to eat. So even if the lines are long the first week as we're figuring out how to get through the registers, you do have time to eat. So this year, our lunches, even though we have 4 lunches, are pretty big. One of the things that we're going to do to help with the size of the lunches is we're adding a new senior privilege for the class of 2022. Now this is a privilege that you earn by being awesome, but you can lose it too. So to help with the size of lunches, seniors, the entire U of the lower commons and upper commons is available for you to eat your lunch. We'll also have seating outside, right outside of the cafeteria, and anybody's available to eat out there. But this is a senior privilege. When you leave food on the floor or on the tables, that privilege is going to be gone. But I know you're awesome, and that's not going to happen, so we look forward to you having some freedom at lunches.
We are so excited to have you join us for the 2021-22 school year. This year, we've done our best to create more options for our students. That being said, our schedule is a little harder to read. Enjoy watching this video so that you can learn how to read your schedule. At Lexington High School, we offer several different types of classes for our students. We have traditional block classes, which are semester long and last for 90 minutes each day. We have embedded classes that last only 45 minutes each day, but the class goes all year long in both semesters. We have split classes that are the same amount of time as a regular block, but they'll have a lunch break in the middle. Each student will receive a copy of their schedule and a copy of the LHS schedule guide in first block. Pay special attention to the columns which hold the classes on that schedule. Those columns are going to be key in helping us understand what time those classes start and what time they end. These numbers in this column right here correspond to the numbers that are on the scheduling guide, and the tool can be used to help either way. This first class is in columns 1, 2, and 3. That means it's a traditional first block class with a start time of 8:35 and a stop time of 10:05. The next course on this schedule is only in column 4. Using our course guide, we see that classes in column 4 are second block embedded A. They start at 10:10 and they end at 10:53 a.m. This student's lunch is in column 5. Our course guide says that column 5 is for first lunch, which starts at 10:54 and ends at 11:19. There are 4 lunches this year because of the size of our growing student body. Musical theater is in columns 6, 7, 8, and 9. Using our course guide, we see that that means that's a second embedded B. It starts at 11:24 a.m. and goes to 12:06. Our sample students in power class is in columns 10 through 11. So if we look at our schedule guide, we see that column 10 through 11, it's in power 2. It starts at 12:10 and it ends at 12:35. Our sample student also has blank boxes in columns 12 through 15. That indicates to us that there should be a class on the bottom of the schedule. And this student has a Fundamentals of Computing class at LTC. It is in the student schedule, but it is not in the LHS database. That's why the boxes are blank and it appears on the bottom of the schedule. This student also has his final class in columns 16 through 17, which indicates that it's a traditional fourth block class that starts at 2:15 and ends at 3:45 p.m. Let's take a few minutes and look at some other examples. Here's a different student who has classes in columns 12 through 13 and then another class in columns 14 and 15. Using our guide, we see that the first course, the one in 12 through 13, the English 2, is an embedded 3A, and it starts at 12:40 and it ends at 1:23. The next class is an embedded 3B. It starts at 1:28 p.m. and ends at 2:10 p.m. This student has a class in columns 1 through 2. That's a first block embedded A class that starts at 8:35 a.m. and goes to 9:18 a.m. They also have a class in column 3, which is a first block embedded B class starting at 9:22 and ending at 10:05 a.m. Notice that even though the first class is in 2 columns and the second class is in 3, they are about the same amount of time in length. This student has Algebra 2 in column 4 and column 6 through 9. That means it's a split second block. They'll go to lunch in the middle of class. They'll come in at 10:10 and go to 10:53. They'll break for lunch until 11:19, and then they'll come back to class at 11:24 and end it at 12:06. For our final example, we'll look at this student who has a class in columns 7 through 11. Using our scheduling guide, we see that's a split third block class. They also have lunch in columns 12 through 13, which means this student has fourth lunch. The split third block class will start at 11:45 and go to 12:40. The students will break for lunch and return at 1:10 p.m. to 1:45 to finish up their classwork. They will also have a multi-grade Empower, which we can see is in columns 14 through 15. Thank you so much for viewing this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your administrator or your counselor.
All right, guys, I hope you have a great day and a great week. We've told you a lot of stuff this morning, and you're going to continue to learn a lot this week, and it'll be a little overwhelming, but we're going to get there little by little, and you guys are going to be awesome. It's going to be a fantastic year. When you see me in the hall, please come up and talk to me and tell me how your day is going. My goal is to know all 2,400 names by the end of the year, so come and talk to me, please. I hope you have an awesome day.